If you haven't seen my other videos where we talked about the types of the domestic violence cases, how to get a temporary restraining order, how we handle a final restraining order, the consequences of a final restraining order, God forbid, I suggest you go take a look. Right. In this video, I'm going to talk about the prosecutor and their role with regards to a restraining order. Very straightforward. The prosecutor has no role in a restraining order. Absolutely none. Zero. And the reason for that is because a restraining order is not a criminal process. A restraining order is actually a civil process. Now, it can have criminal consequences if it is disobeyed. Right? I've seen cases where the officer, the court, the judge told the individual, ordered them not to call, contact, basically put a restraining order in place. The individual violated the restraining order, and now they're facing a jail time with the case. It is a crime to violate a restraining order. Okay, but the restraining order process itself is not a criminal process. It is a civil process. Okay, and because it's not a criminal process, the prosecutor has no say whatsoever. But in cases where an individual is charged with a domestic violence crime, right? Whether it's battery, an assault, things like that, stalking, kidnapping, etc. Even harassment, right? The long list of things that qualify as domestic violence under the law. In those cases, depending on how severe or how how terrible the alleged crime is, the court would most likely impose a restraining order right away, right? Upon bail, if the individual is to be released from bail, assuming they win and they're not deemed risky to society or a flight risk, etc. When the individual is released on bail, the judge would 9 times out of 10 impose a restraining order on an individual. In some cases, the prosecutor may even request it, but that is as part of the criminal case in itself, right? The prosecutor may say, Your Honor, let's have a restraining order. 9 times out of 10, the judge will probably him or herself impose a restraining order anyway if it's a violent crime under the Prevention of Domestic Violence Act of 1991 in New Jersey. But that's different from when you have a restraining order hearing, right? That hearing is a civil process. The prosecutor has nothing to do with it. And because of the consequences of it, I advise you to watch the video where I made about the consequences of a restraining order. Because the consequences can be so severe, I would not advise anyone to handle these things by themselves. So I always advise to get an attorney. And of course, call us at Omojola Law. Type in Omojola, OMOJOLA, LAW, into your favorite search engine. It will pull up our website, our locations, our contact information, etc. This is Attorney Ade Omojola, and I am looking forward to solving your legal problem. Hello, this is Attorney Ade Omojola from Omojola Law, right here in Newark, New Jersey. I've been practicing law for over 14 years. I cover the areas of litigation, immigration, domestic violence / family law, and DUIs, driving under the influence. Please search Omojola Law, that's OMOJOLA, into any of your favorite search engines, and it'll pull up our website, our location, and our contact information. I'm looking forward to speaking with you. Again, this is Attorney Ade Omojola from Omojola Law, located right here in Newark, New Jersey, and I'm looking forward to solving your legal problem.